Hi, Aaron Suttles here from Yea Alabama. I'm Director of Content at Yea Alabama, and we're back for another half-hour huddle. We'll be joined here momentarily by fifth-year middle blocker Alyiah Wells, who has taken has been very gracious with her time. She's going to join us fresh off of the two-a-day, which we'll get to asking her about in a second. But hopefully, you guys took advantage of Fan Day on Saturday. It was a hot one in Tuscaloosa at Bryant-Denny Stadium, but what a just tremendous turnout we had, and people take advantage of getting the student athletes, University of Alabama football team, getting their autograph. Coach Saban's autograph line, as you would imagine, stretched probably the length of Bryant-Denny Stadium, and I predicted it correctly. I asked the question, who would be, aside from Saban, who would have the longest line, and I nailed it. It was Kool-Aid McKinstry. His line was long pretty much the entire autograph session. So thanks to those Yale Alabama subscribers who signed up the day of, took advantage of that, and for the longtime subscribers who came out and made Saturday's Fan Day such a wonderful event. Keep your ears and eyes open. That's not the first event, the only event rather that we're going to do. We have more of these type events planned throughout the athletic calendar year across sports, and we're going to try to get the student athlete in front of our subscribers as much as possible to get sort of break down that barrier that you get to know them a little bit better. A little housekeeping here. Make sure you're following us on all our social media channels, on Instagram, on Facebook, and on Twitter. We have announcements coming out all the time, sometimes weekly, sometimes daily, like the one that came out today. Guess what? Brand new fresh polos are in. Yea Alabama polos from Holderness and Bourne are available. There's 7 styles to choose from. Make sure you're logging on. And if you want that game day polo coming up for the first game September 2nd against Middle Tennessee State, you want a look that no one else has, that's probably a good place to start because there's not a lot of these that are out there in the wild right now, as I say. And your chance to one up your friends is right in front of you. So make sure you're checking out our merch. Holderness and Bourne 7 polos are now available. It's my distinct pleasure now to bring in fifth-year middle blocker Alyiah Wells. Alyiah, thanks so much for joining us fresh off of a two-a-day from camp. She didn't get anything to eat. She is joining us now. Thanks for joining us.
No, thank you so much for having me. Sorry I couldn't do all the glitz and glam that I would normally do if I was gonna do an interview, but the grind never stops. So I'm very excited to be here and really grateful for the opportunity.
Well, good thing for you is your picture right now is next to mine, and I'm not much of a looker, so you look glitz and glam just simply in the picture with me. But we
No,
appreciate you joining us.
thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So you're doing a two-a-days, and I think when people think the words two-a-days, they think football, like the old school football practice. I didn't know that volleyball did a two-a-day. Educate us. What's a two-a-day like?
Well, two-a-day kind of starts fresh early in the morning. We get to the gym, arrive to the gym about 8 o'clock to do pre-practice treatment, whether that's getting taped, going in, getting stretched, everything that we have to do with our athletic trainer. And then we're on the court at 8:50 every single day for our warm-up. We practice from 9 to 11:30 to 12 sometimes, and then we'll go to the film room and have kind of like a team chat or discussion following that first practice. Kind of have an hour in between to eat lunch, kick our feet up, and then we're back on the court at 1:50. We didn't get out today until 5:30, so I was glad to be able to make it here and be able to spend some time with you guys. So that's just kind of how the stretch of the day goes, and after that, we do it all over again tomorrow.
So how many two-a-days are planned? Is it all during camp?
It is all during camp. Tomorrow, we start two-a-days on Tuesday, but tomorrow we're only going in the morning and then doing a film session after practice and having the afternoon off. But then we'll pick back up with them again on Saturday. We'll have them playing pretty much all the way up until school starts around I think the 23rd or the 24th that week, a few weeks from now. So that's how long the stretch is. Then we have our first exhibition game next Saturday. So, of course, our practice schedule will look a little bit different leading up to that. But for the most part, we're going to be there twice a day, every single day, just because we're just now allowed to get back with our coaches.
Right. Forgot to mention earlier, if you have any questions, you can, right below the video, you can click comment. If you didn't get your questions in ahead of time, you can comment live now during the 30 minutes we have with Alyiah. Now, you came back for another season.
I did.
How much decision went into that? And were you waffling? Was it an easy decision? Tell us a little bit about that thought process.
Well, it's funny you say that because, of course, I wanted to play my 5th year. Whether or not I was going to be here at Alabama was 100% up to my coach and how she wanted to move forward with her taking over the program. So as far for me, of course, I love the school. I loved it every single year. I committed here when I was the summer after my freshman year of high school when the rules were a little bit different. And even through a coaching change, right before I was supposed to sign my letter of intent, I still felt like this was the place for me. So, of course, a part of me was hoping and praying that she asked me to come back for my 5th year. But, of course, like that was 100% up to her. So when she asked me and stuff, I kind of took a few weeks to kind of talk to my family about it and see if that's the direction I wanted to go. If I was going to be ready, I definitely wanted to play after college. So seeing where I was at the end of my senior season, would I be ready to make that transition? Did I feel like I was prepared enough to go ahead and play at that next level professionally? And did I want to finish? Was I finished with school? I did get my master's I graduated a year early and got my master's my senior year. And of course, I kind of wanted to work towards another field. So I am pursuing my second master's right now. So I feel like that was a big reason about why I wanted to stay. And of course, I felt like my time at Alabama just wasn't over yet. I feel like there's so many things that we as a team wanted to accomplish. And Rashinda, my coach, she definitely said that she needed help and stuff and needed experience coming back. So I was more than happy and more than grateful to have the opportunity to come back.
So obviously, academically minded, you're working on a 3rd degree, which is completely impressive. What do you want to do with your degrees, and what are you actually studying?
Right now, I'm studying sports hospitality, which is the University of Alabama's form of sports management. So you're more of like event planning. I did business in undergrad, so I know I wanted to stay in sports post graduation and post eligibility. So but of course, like I said, I do want to play professional, but of course you can't play volleyball forever. My goal is to work in student athlete enhancement. Starting off, I definitely want to be able to work one-on-one with athletes to kind of help them and through their journey, just because I have people to help me, and I don't think I would be where I am today. I'm going to be the woman I am today and be prepared to make the transition out of college without them and the resources and the networking that I've done with them. So being able to help athletes is kind of what I want to do. But I really want to work later into my career and transition to more of a higher administration role, more on the business side. So I really want to be an AD. I'm very close with Dr. Lee here, our diversity, equity, inclusion officer, Tiffany Grimes, who was here. She's now the AD at Purdue, and of course Greg Byrne. I've known them, been very close with them all my time here, and they're part of the reason why I do want to try to move into that position later in life to try to work towards being an AD, just because of how our relationship is and how much they care about athletes and making our experience a memorable one.
So when you got the word, you obviously said you took a couple weeks to think about it when Coach Wells or when Rashinda asked you to come back or gave you the invitation. Mm-hmm. After you made that decision, you start obviously planning and thinking about the upcoming season. What kind of goals have you set for yourself?
Honestly, personally, my goal was to just kind of perform to the best of my ability, like the top of my ability, and make my teammates better and contribute in the best way that I knew how, which is in my position. I feel like once you get to it, she asked me to come back like kind of midway through the season. By that point, we knew that postseason was kind of 50-50. It was more like 40-60 at that point. So just kind of finishing strong and making sure that if we had the opportunity to knock any other SEC teams out of making the NCAA tournament, that we did that. And of course, we were close. We were able to get some of those wins later in the season. So it was kind of just to make a name for ourselves so that next year the teams knew that like we weren't something to kind of just roll over and kind of not pay attention to, that we weren't going to be just an easy layup team, that it was a team that they were going to have to work and they were going to have to battle and like earn the game for us. So that was kind of our goal, was to kind of make it hard for everybody and to kind of establish ourselves, establish our dominance, and establish our presence.
In talking to people around campus, there's a lot of energy around this program right now, and there's something being built. How much did that feed into your decision of wanting to be sort of a core piece of a rebuilding effort that's really building their own legacy?
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel like everything is more of like opportunity. The support that we get from our fans and stuff definitely helped my decision. Some of our fans have been with me since day one. In 2019, me coming to campus, like they still know me by name. Some of the fans that bought season tickets, that we were able to go to their homes and hand out our season tickets, and their support definitely kind of swayed like my decision, because I feel like when you build longevity and you build that long time support, that it's just important to kind of keep it going, just so the fans know that you're just as much invested in performing and, you know, giving them their best like form of entertainment as them coming in, reciprocating that energy and bringing that energy to Foster every single week. So the fan support definitely helped out with that in my decision, if that answers your question.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's we got some questions submitted from our subscribers. First one's from Jimmy W. Wants to know, now that she's in her second year, how's Coach Reed settling into Tuscaloosa and Alabama volleyball?
I think she's doing a phenomenal job. A big thing that she is harping on, and something we've decided as a team, is that we're going to be very much engaged in the community. You know, our first tournament here, our first preseason tournament here, like she took the time, got on the microphone, and she thanked the fans for being here. And I feel like that goes a long way with the community, just because I know that like she took the time, even though she is the head coach, to kind of thank every single fan individually, and go out in the community and kind of make those relationships. I feel like that's a big thing for Tuscaloosa, because it is a hometown feel. It's a college town, so everything that we do is kind of centered around the University of Alabama. So our biggest goal is getting out into the community, and she's just kind of establishing like what Alabama volleyball needs to be in the culture. So I feel like she's doing a great job getting settled. I know she's putting a pool in her house, so she plans on being here for a long time. So she's definitely laying those roots, and I'm very glad that I'm able to help her out with that here in my last year.
All right, let's grab another question here. This one coming from Brittany. Do you have a Coach Reed impersonation?
Absolutely.
Can you give it to us?
Oh, wow. Well, one thing that she says to kind of like hype us up is "Roll freaking Tide." Like when she's really serious in the huddle, she's like, "Guys, you have to wear this script A on your chest. Roll freaking Tide. If you're getting down on yourself, just say roll freaking Tide." I mean, it's just so many things I feel like I can say about her. We're kind of the same, but she just kind of like, let's just take a deep breath. Like, guys, like, we got this. You know, I'm not gonna yell at you. Like, that's what she always says. I'm not gonna yell at you. You know, that's not gonna help a thing. We're not gonna yell at you. So it just depends on the moment. I was not expecting this at all, and definitely had something prepared for you, but she's very calm, like very consistent, very level. So, you know, Lee, that's another one, because she calls me Lee. That's a good one. So, you know.
All right, so we know the volleyball players, they have the padding, but inevitably, as much as you guys are diving around on that court, you get some scrapes and some strawberries. What's the worst one you've ever had?
Scrapes and stuff. I don't know. The even though we wear knee pads, you'd be surprised. The knee pads don't really knee pad the way that they need to. Let's talk about, you know, how knee pads are formed. And a lot of volleyball players, we don't really wear them on our knees. They're just kind of there for the look at this point. Because if you think about it, if you have a knee pad pulled up, it covers up your whole knee. Like you don't really get that flexibility that you need. So most of the time they turn into a shin guard or something like that. So I think the worst one I've had is probably like on one of my knees, like on the inside of my knee, a bruise. It's not really pretty when, you're trying to wear shorts or something, got a lot of bruises and stuff. It looks like you've been just kind of getting beat up. So, I think just the knee bruises and stuff is kind of, my teammates have a lot more, like, our DSs and our libero stuff, they get a lot more down and dirty on the ground than I do personally, just because I don't really play back row as much as they do, and they kind of have to sacrifice their bodies a lot more. But I've seen a lot of bad things. I've seen elbow bruises. I've seen the strawberries, seen bloody knee pads. But for me personally, it's just been a few knee bruises here and there.
If you have any comments that you didn't get in ahead of time, make sure you click on that button beneath the video. You can comment. We got one from Julian Hall. He wants to know, what's one thing you're most excited for this season?
Hi, Julian. I'm most excited for just kind of seeing where we are and how we're going to finish this season. I'm very excited it's kind of bittersweet that I'm in my last season here. And I feel like there's so many goals that I've set for myself and that my teammates and I have set for each other and for the program as a whole. So I'm most excited to see like how everything comes together. We have a very young team this year, so I'm excited to see how they perform. I'm excited how I perform with them. I'm just excited to win some games and kind of get back on the court. It's been a long time since last November. So we're just excited to get out there for real. And that's what I'm most excited for. Just kind of the grind, getting ready to play. Like everybody wants to play. Like the practicing stuff is not as fun and glamorous and cool as actually playing a game and playing another opponent. Like it's a switch that gets flipped. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right, so you're a middle blocker. Have you ever taken one to the face, like a spike? You're going to win some and lose some of those battles, right?
I have taken I've taken a few to the face. If you don't block correctly, most of the time, like the hitter will find a way just to kind of hit you square on before it even gets back there. Sometimes it goes to the other side and everybody's able to play it up, and sometimes it hits you in the face and it goes all the way up into the stands. So you definitely have to learn how to take one. Take a few.
There we go.
I have a few, and after a few years, you start to get like a little tougher skin. Freshman year, you get hit in the face, you're like, oh my god, like I got hit in the face, like it hurts. But senior year, junior, senior year, fifth year, you're just kind of like,
it's old hat.
Nothing. Slight, for sure.
All right, let's grab another question here. This is coming from Jackson. Is there a worst day of practice? Have you had a worst day of practice?
Absolutely. In the spring, in the off season, we work on a lot of different like little nuances of the game. Like we are able to break down, since we're not playing at all, we're not preparing for any teams. We're kind of just breaking down individual skills. And this past spring, we had to change like the height of our sets and just kind of a different way of how to time it and approach and spacing from your setter. And those were a lot of worse days, like, because sometimes you're jumping up there and you're not even touching the ball when you're getting ready to hit. It's a lot of embarrassing whiffs. And that can really like get you down if you're not able to bounce back from it. Working through a new skill, I feel like those are just kind of my worst days in practice, when you feel like you're doing it and you look on the film. We have iPads and stuff set up and TVs, and what you're doing in your head doesn't match what you see on the TV. It can be very deflating. So I feel like that might have been my worst day of practice. It was probably like our first day back in the spring when she was like, hey, like, we're going to do this now. And then I'm a senior. Like, I'm going to my 5th year and I've done everything the same. I've been playing volleyball for 10 years and I've done everything the same. And now at the end, last year of my career, we're trying to switch it up. So, but it definitely was for the better, for sure.
All right, let's burn through some questions here. Tim wants to know, how has the dynamic changed over the course of your time at Alabama? The team dynamic, rather.
Right now, well, starting off, it just seemed like it's just a lot of unnecessary pressure amongst ourselves, between each other. Of course, when you get to college, everybody's competing for playing time. So being able to still form those relationships, being able to come in as a freshman, having new people come in and out, you have to figure out how you can build your relationships on and off the court, without, letting the grind of, hey, I'm trying to compete for playing time kind of outweigh, like, okay, this is still my friend. Like, this is still like, somebody who I'm close with, and being able to separate the two. I feel like now we do a lot more team bonding, and we spend a lot of one-on-one time together. We try to take those time to build those outside relationships. So the team dynamic has definitely shifted on an upward path because we've been able to like know that, hey, like if I'm telling you this, if I'm holding you accountable, that it's out of love. Like it's not like we have a big team divide, like we're not really clicked up. I feel like that's something that we struggled with early on, was that we had like little small groups that stay within themselves. But now it seems like we're all one big happy family, and we're able to communicate and show tough love, and it's not taken personal. And I feel like because of that, this past year, we were able to perform in those high pressure situations because we were able to have that effective communication as well, and without that divide.
All about culture. Let's grab another question here.
Great question, Tim.
Yeah. Jimmy wants to know, with several new players this year, what are your primary goals as a team leader?
As a team leader, it's just kind of to prepare the people who are going to be here in the next years and the years to come, prepare them to take my spot as a vocal leader, and kind of get them prepared for this season, with the IQ of the game. So, of course, 5 years in, I know a little bit more. I've experienced a little bit more in the SEC than some of the freshmen that have just come in. So this summer we were in the gym. Right now we're in preseason twice a day in the gym. My goal is to make sure that IQ-wise that I help them in the best way I can with teaching them the game. And so it's easier for them. I feel like when I came in, it was me and Haley McSparron. She was a senior middle when I got in. It was just us two. We didn't have any subs, anything like that. So I had to be on point, and she knew that. And she did everything that she could to teach me everything that she had learned in those 4 years in such a short amount of time. And even throughout the season, being like, hey, like, you can do this during timeouts. Hey, you can do this because of this. So my goal is just kind of make sure that I make everybody around me better and prepare so that we establish the culture of what it is with Alabama volleyball, as well as, hey, this is how you play. And this is how you are successful, because you have to know mentally how to play, not just physically. So that's pretty much my goal. I've been here 4 years, 5 years and stuff. Of course, like I have my own goals of like, I have to carry my own weight as a 5th year and in high pressure situations, be able to perform and keep everything calm. But my main goal for coming back, and, Rashinda's main goal for having me back, is to kind of make it so I can establish the girls who are here for the years to come. So that's my goal.
There we go. All right, let's grab another one here from Mark. What has been your most memorable achievement or your favorite moment at Alabama so far?
Memorable achievement. Wow. Well, my most memorable achievement, I'll do a two-part. My most memorable achievement probably would have been making the all-freshman SEC team. that's something that's really hard to do, is to come in as a freshman and perform and stuff. And I was coming off of an injury, so that's just something that from high school, that's just something that I really took pride in and was so grateful that I was able to get, just because I knew that it was something to show for my hard work, and all the work that like my teammates helped me get the award, for sure. And as far as my favorite moment at Alabama so far, I don't know if you're talking about volleyball related, Mark, or in general, but my favorite moment was when we won a national championship in 2020. I don't know if you've ever been in Tuscaloosa after winning a national championship, but it's just something about, seeing your friends and your peers. Of course, you want to win your own sport as well, but 2020 was such a hard roller coaster, of a year, and it was just so many things that were going on, for us to win that. And it was like people that you're close to, like your friends. It's something you can experience with your teammates and your friends, going out on the strip and everybody being together. That's just it was an indescribable feeling. Like the moment was absolutely phenomenal. You know, being part of a national championship school, nothing has been able to top that moment at all. So,
That's awesome.
that and going to Auburn and winning it 4 overtimes for the Iron Bowl. I was at that game. That was wow. Like I like being at Auburn, having my red crimson Letterman jacket on, and seeing the Auburn fans come out when they thought they won, and then we beat them in 4 overtime, and I was the only Alabama fan there with the Letterman jacket. Chef's kiss.
Man,
Man.
Alyiah is winning some Crimson Tide fans here tonight. That's why the words "Roll Tide" mean so much to so many people. Let's grab another question here, from Jada. What's the hardest volleyball skill to master?
Jada, the hardest volleyball skill to master is blocking. It's such a big part of the game, but it's also the most, inefficient stat. So it's probably the lowest stat in all out of all the categories, out of hitting, digs, service, aces. A really good blocker is averaging 2 blocks a game. So out of three out of 5 sets, if you're averaging 2 blocks a game, then 2 blocks a set,
Yeah.
basically. That's solid. And blocking is hard because it's something that you have to read so much. You have to read, where the pass is coming from. You have the set speed and trying to get out there, get your hands over, and then a hitter is really working to hit around you. So a lot of it's out of your control. It just takes a lot of discipline, but even though I'm a middle blocker, that's definitely been the hardest skill, in my opinion, to master in volleyball.
But it feels good when you stop.
Oh, absolutely. Getting a block is amazing. Like, wow, like you really can hurt somebody's feelings by like thinking they're really finna go up there and just take a rip, and they really thought they was gonna get it past you, but no.
Love it. Let's grab another one here. This one from Jonathan. Any special talents outside of volleyball?
Any special talents outside of volleyball?
Outside from getting 3 degrees, and we know you're a dog mom. I mean,
I am a dog mom. That's a talent on its own, is being able to balance being a dog mom and a college athlete. I used to sing. I still kind of sing. I used to sing in church growing up. I sang in my senior showcase my senior year of high school, and my grandpa and his brothers, I grew up singing with them. And my grandpa's he's very instrumentally gifted, so he kind of taught me how, like, the basics of how to sing. So I just kind of went with that, and that's just kind of my special talent.
Man,
So
is there anything you can't do? You can sing, you can play volleyball.
I can't draw very well. My sister's my little sister is a little bit better at the artistic type of painting and drawing. I can do a very solid stick person.
There we go. All right, we're gonna get one more because you've been so gracious with your time. After a 2-day, she's got to go eat, folks. We can keep her all night, but she's got to go get some nutrition. Jackie wants to know, what's your favorite food?
My favorite food is sushi. I love sushi. It's so good. I can eat it every single day. We have a really good place here that I go to all the time. That's local on campus, and I just love sushi because you can get like a lot of different combinations. So it's not like you're eating the same cheeseburger,
Right.
double cheeseburger, bacon, mayo, mustard, ketchup. You can kind of mix up your fish, and I love sushi. And it's kind of
So
light,
we
healthy.
could tailor make an NIL endorsement for you. I'm not saying we can, but if we could, from your favorite sushi place in town, where would it be?
It would be with Asians. Yeah, it's down, kind of towards downtown, in front of Innisfree and next to Boba Tea. Asians, they know my order. Like it could be the Alyiah special at this point because I've known the manager all 4 years. He's always I come in, he's like, "Hey, Alyiah." They always try to make sure they slip me like when they have like they have little $2 off coupons that they hand out at certain events. They're like, "Hey, make sure you take this for the next time you come in." But if we can get a deal with them, that'd be great because I'm in there way too much not to have one.
You
I'm in
hear
there.
that? Let's get that deal done.
Let's get that going. Let's get that going because I have all my teammates. All my teammates go there now. All of our freshmen. I said that's the first place you have to go, just because it's like Subway for sushi, and you can kind of make it. I'm definitely a regular there. The people who work there, they're definitely like, "Oh yeah, you're coming in. You're getting this, 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 this. We know what else you get on there. I know you get these 3 things, but just remind me." So it really helps that they took the time and they are taking the time to kind of get to know me and they remember me at this point. So hopefully after 5 years they would, but so it does mean a lot to me and I love it there. Favorite
That's
place.
awesome. She is 5th year middle blocker at Yea Wells from the Alabama volleyball team. She's working on a second graduate degree, and you can see her coming up pretty soon. You guys have a exhibition match against North Alabama, I believe August 19th at 4:00.
Yes,
Make
at
sure you
Foster Auditorium.
the volleyball team this year.
Say that one more time.
Telling them to get out and make sure that they
Oh.
support you guys this year.
Yes, please, Bama fans, come out and support us this season. Like he said, our first exhibition match is next Saturday, 4:00 at Foster Auditorium. We would love to see all the new faces, old faces come in to support us this year. We're really working on something great, and we have a great time here in Foster. It's always a party, always a party.
Love
So,
it. Alyiah,
please.
thank you so much for your time, and good luck with the rest of 2 days in camp.
Thank you so much for having me. Yay, Alabama.
There we go. She's Alyiah Wells. What an awesome interview. Ton of personality uh, from Alyiah, and working on her 3rd degree. How impressive is that? I was lucky just to get the 1, and I was pretty satisfied with the 1, but I'm not as gifted as Miss Wells there. So make sure you're supporting Alabama volleyball, August 19th, 4:00 in Foster against North Alabama. Also, make sure you follow us on all our social media accounts, Yea Alabama. As I mentioned early on, if you didn't hear it, joined us late. New set of polos just dropped. I mean, fire, the fire emoji? Fire. 7 of those Holderness and Bourne polos. You can look fresh. You can be amongst your friend group or your tailgate group. You'll have a polo that probably your friends aren't going to have. So make sure you go check out one of 7 designs there. Get all of them. Get all of them. Make sure you're supporting the student athletes at the University of Alabama through Yea Alabama. Tell your friends about subscribing to Yea Alabama. We had our first fan event at Fan Day. We're going to be doing more of that type of stuff throughout the academic calendar year and athletic calendar year. So make sure you're telling your friends about some of these cool experiences that they will get. Thank you to Alyiah Wells, and we will see you next week on Half Hour Huddle.